here today. And of course, a huge thank you to the Blasian Narratives cast and crew who are seated amongst the audience for coming out to Claremont. This event would not be possible without them and our many co-sponsors, including AAMP, OBSA, Merge, PSU, and BLOC, and many other orgs across the 5Cs. So shout out to those organizations. You all know who you are. So with that said, the first part of the event will be a theater performance by the Blasian Narratives cast, and which will then be followed by a Q&A and discussion with the cast and crew themselves. So that will be really dope. So please stick around for that. And then now I'm going to hand it off to Megan to introduce the group.
As she said, I'm Megan. I'm a second year at Scripps College. Okay, so the Blasian Narratives is a theater performance that intimately explores the mixed intersection of Black and Asian identities. The project began as a collaboration between the Morehouse and Spelman College students documenting and exploring the identity formations of individuals with mixed Afro-Asian heritage, commonly known as Blasians. The grassroots project aims to bring historically polarized communities together by illustrating the complexities and unity of identity awareness, how you see yourself versus how you are seen, in hopes of building solidarity along the way. So we're going to pass the mic over to the director.
Can everyone hear me all the way in the back? Great. I didn't want to use the mic just to get us back into this space. But my name is Canon M, also known as Omnis Sentinel, and I'm, like you said, the director of the Blasian Narratives project. And we're really excited to be here today, so we really thank you all for being here. So before I want to share the personal story of how Blasian Narratives formed, I want to give a shout out again to Justina Wu and her team for bringing us out here, because without them, we wouldn't be here today. So please show them some love. So you might be wondering, is this guy Blasian, or what is he? And I think just to address that straight up, I'm actually not Blasian myself. I'm Cambodian American, and I'm actually a child of refugee. And to be able to bring you guys into the space of where we are here, I want to share this personal story of why, and so that you can get into the mode of where we're at. So I think for me growing up, I grew up in neighborhoods that was predominantly Black and Latino. So naturally, a lot of my friends are Black and Latino. And I think that what was really interesting was that our parents doesn't seem to get along. And so I think that was always in the back of my mind in terms of like this really elephant in the room that not a lot of people address. And I think that has always been in the back of my mind in terms of like, especially if you think of any positive Asian and Black relationship, I don't know if you can think of anything, I feel like the latest one that I can think of is Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. And that's like, it's just like all jokes. And so I think that we're missing an opportunity to really explore two polarized communities that share a lot in common if we choose to focus on what is really in the intersection of those identities, right? And so I think for me that, like a lot of us, for me at least, I came to my racial identity in college. And in some ways that's a little bit too late for me. And it got me thinking in terms of like how transformative it would have been for me had I known about this a lot sooner. And so in the sense that underlying thought never crossed my mind in terms of like that Black-Asian solidarity. And so one year I just made the decision to transfer to Morehouse College, which is an historically Black college. It's also an all-men's college. And for me, to be honest, the real reason to go there was to find brotherhood. It wasn't really that Black-Asian solidarity that I was looking for, but naturally that came up. And so in my own personal quest to understand that Black-Asian solidarity, I ran across individuals who would later become the cast of this show, and that was the first time that I met people who called themselves Blasians. And I realized in that moment that who could be able to tell that story better than these people who lived this experience themselves. And that was really in a sense that as I got to know their stories, it really intrigued me in a sense of like how it could be shared, and it also can help uplift and empower our own communities. And so without saying too much, I don't want to say too much, so I want to just read that for now. In the sense of that, our last performance was at Stanford back in May 2015. So this is actually our first performance where we're not students. So this performance is very special to us. So we're really excited to show us. Just a couple of announcements. We believe in theater. We know how transformative and fulfilling it is, but it's not always so accessible. So the past year, even though we were taking a hiatus, we've been working on a video version that we want to be able to offer for free. And so we're planning to release it on November 11th on our Facebook and YouTube. So if you like what you see and you feel like your own perspective communities can benefit in any way, we encourage you to share it or start conversation with your communities in that sense. And we also want to create another, we're also experimenting because this is completely grassroots. We have no funding whatsoever. So we want to show what we can do without funding. So imagine what we can do when we have the right resources. We also understand that with funding comes other accountability and restrictions. So we want to show the rawness and this that might not be so accessible. And so yeah, with that being said, I think that we have a habit of warming up the cast to the audience. And so if I can get, we're going to do some just movement because I know everyone might be feeling stressed. I know this is like an interesting weekend before the elections. So if I can get some of the student leaders to come warm up with me, and I encourage you guys who are feeling comfortable to stand up and do it with us to get in the right mode to experience these stories. And also to bring you guys into the stories itself. So if you feel comfortable, please stand up. Those who's not feeling it, no worries, we're not judging you. Take a seat, chill, just watch. But we're going to do some qigong, which is like this form of like focus, breathing, movement, and focus attention. So yeah, we're going to do just a couple of moves, and then we're going to start right away without too long to the show itself. So can I get the student leaders to come up and share with us? You're in the dark, so don't worry, just stand up. And so, all right, so you guys are ready? So we can do this. So now just imagine you just woke up. Let it out. So we're going to do this thing, imagine where you're holding like a little stress ball. So I can show you basically like this. This is like a stress ball, and then you're going to roll it down. So make sure you're not hurting anybody. Alright, so we're going to do this. Alright, so ready? So swoop. Alright, 3, 2, 1, go. So to top this up, we're going to do this energizing exercise. This is kind of like, so I'll do it real fast, and then we're going to do 3 times. And each time we get louder each time. So we want to show Just to wrap this up, I was supposed to plug on November 14th. I'm also in a workshop on learning masculinity in the API community. So it's 6:30 in New Jersey, in Soka, I think. So
Soka.
Yes. And so, all right. So to wrap this up, I want to leave you guys with this question, just in the back of your mind when you're watching these comparisons. My mentor once told me this, that the world is incapable of knowing peace if you yourself doesn't embody that, right? And so, are you a defender of the old world, or are you a builder of the new world? So, thank you.
What's up, guys? Guess what? Let me let you in on a little secret. Being Blasian is like living the best of both worlds. You see, I'm a straight A student, state champion wrestler, and of course, A plus. Hold on just a minute. I'm also delinquent, timid, violent, demons. What's being Blasian anyway?
Sheranti. No. There's no A at the end. It's just Sheranti. Yeah, okay, perfect. Oh, my last name is Gunadolka. Goon. Yeah, Goon. It's like my nickname. Goon. Yeah, no, sorry, right. Gunadolka. Yeah, that's perfect. Oh, it's from Sri Lanka. It's an island south of India in Asia. Yeah, like the Nicki Minaj song. Yeah. Cool. No, I'm not Indian. I'm Sri Lankan to India, two different countries. I'm not. Yeah, I do eat curry, watch Bollywood films, but I'm not cool. Two separate countries. Oh, my middle name. It's Pauline. Yeah, I know it's like an old person's name, right? Yeah. Oh, it's my dad's mom's name. Yeah, I mean like my grandma. Yeah. Oh, no. I'm black. You'd think I would be annoyed having to go through that every time I introduce myself. But it's not that bad. You know, it's really not. You know what's really strange? Being here with all of them. I mean, like, they're Blasian. Yeah. No. I know that I'm black and Sri Lanka's in Asia, so, you know, Blasian, but it's just weird having to claim something so new to me. You see, I never started calling myself Blasian until I went to Atlanta. Can I be honest with you guys? Okay. I would rather be called Blunkin. You get it though, right? You see, because I'm black, and then I'm Sri Lankan. I'm Blunkin. Oh. Well, wait, that means I would still have to go over the pronunciation of my name, where it comes from, that it's in Asia, that I'm not Indian. and then I'm still black in the middle. You know, guys, I'm Blasian.
Hawaii, the melting pot of the world, the paradise of multi-ethnic harmony. It's the place where cultural continuities get thrown together into a big pot to make chop suey. It's the land where languages turn from mabuhay kumusta, genki desu ka, mahalo to hey brother, close it up. Hold it, let my Japanese self crunch some numbers for you. Okay. Approximately 1 in 4 persons living in Hawaii identify as multiracial, and let me tell you, a hell of a lot more are multi-ethnic. Just ask John Kim Sung Hilani Tamura, for example, and he's not even Hawaiian, okay? I mean, I am chop suey. I'm noodles and spam and cabbage and shoyu and onions, because, I mean, let's be honest, it's smell funny sometimes, but that's besides the point. In Hawaii, we are full of chop suey, okay? We've got Portuguese, Filipino, Chinese, Japanese, Popolo, Haole, Micronesians, Polynesians, bananas, Oreos, and my personal favorite, Katongs. So, I mean, I'm Blackanese American, but if everybody else misled that, I can fit in too, huh? Yeah. Well, at least that's what it would seem on the surface, okay? Let me take you back to 05. Me, in Lids, Hawaii, at Ala Moana Shopping Center, and I'm wearing an LRG shirt, FUBU jeans, and I'm about to buy my very first 5950 fitted cap. The city I repped? Los Angeles, California, of course. I mean, that's the land of Easy-E, Dr. Dre, Ice Cube, Brand, and Yellow Gang. I was a nigga with attitude. Don't you laugh? Cause I was a loped out gangster, set tripping banger, and my homies is down, so don't arouse my anger. Fool, see, I was in the bedroom, I was getting bucked, you know, I was crumping, kicking it, and my dad, he busted through the door. He said, "Son, what the hell are you doing, man?" I said, "No, Dad, I mean, just being me. I mean, I'm black, aren't I?" But you can imagine the dismay on my father's face. To realize that his own son had fallen into the misconception of a culture from which he had moved 6,000 miles away from to attempt to instill within his son what it truly meant to be a black man.
People say, "Oh, I forget you're black," or "I only look at you as Asian, but I have brown skin like you. I'm not black enough? I mean, I have the same curly hair pattern like yours. See, I can rhyme sometimes, check it. At age 14, she wakes up, drowns her face in makeup, only to shape up her looks. But that's a whole nother story. See, I can dance with my thighs and my hips, and my lips are full, and I speak Ebonics too, like, yo, check out that ride over chip. But I'm still not black enough. Can my features or my dialect tell you if I'm enough of anything? If I could tell you where my African blood came from, could you do the same? And no, I'm not trying to say to totally dismiss my ethnicity, but in all actuality, I'm just me. Not just black, not just Asian, Blasian, Alaskan. I'm just Sinisa. And yeah, I'm good at math, but so is Neil deGrasse Tyson. And no, I can't drive, but I mean, I know you've seen Tokyo Drift. You can't tell me what I'm good at or what I do simply by what I look like. You can't tell me if I'm enough of anything. I'm enough of me. Sinisa Lene.
This just in. Yellow fever is approaching an all-time high as reported by National Public Radio. According to statistics from heterosexual dating app research, Asian women are preferred over women of all colors by men of all colors except for Asian men. This epidemic can be equated to the sexual phenomenon known as jungle fever as it applies to black men. Strange how two groups of people can cause such medical concern with just their physical appeal. Yellow fever, jungle fever. Wait, if my mom is Asian and my dad is black, and they're both factors in spreading these diseases, does that make me fatally attracted? I mean, seriously though, I feel like my attractiveness is just heightened by this magical mixture of these two identities. My petite structure and my soft face from my mother, my hair and my hips and my lips from my father. I'm so exotic they have yet to diagnose what this fever is that so many men seem to come down with when they're around me. I mean, they kind of start to lose their balance and they sweat. And they can't even talk straight. I don't know what it is, but it must be something serious. And yet, according to research, black women receive the lowest response on online dating, so maybe one feminine other might not be enough to cancel out the feminine other that doesn't seem to be desired. I know when someone catches my eye, I still find myself having to ask, does he like black women? I find myself having to ask for every guy who drinks a little too much, and when he's really feeling it and starts to list off all the girls that he'd like to take home, even though he kind of dismisses every other black girl, he still considers me. Just for 1 minute, because I'm attractive, but only until he realizes I'm black too. I have to ask for every guy that tweets about role-playing slave and master, because for some reason that offensive kink will get more attention on a dating app than the kink in my hair. I have to ask, does he like black women? And I have to be prepared to hear that the answer is yes, especially mixed girls like you. But hey, I've been prepared for that kind of fetishization every time I've heard as a child that black and Asian mixed babies are the most beautiful babies in this world. Because I knew we grew up to be the most beautiful, most fetishized Asian, most hypersexualized black, most exoticized, most controversial, most confused people in this dating pool.
Every now and then, I forget that I'm not white. 99% of my friends are white. I talk like a valley girl. I grew up in the white suburbs. I like brunching, taking tall naps, and I love Gossip Girl. Like, I'm pretty basic. I'm more comfortable around white people than I am members of my own family, people who look just like me. Being black, being Asian, being a person of color, that's what's foreign to me. And I learned how to be white from day one. I learned from the best, my parents. We were so good with our cocktail parties and our house decorated with Mark Rothko paintings as we listened to Fleetwood Mac. And yeah, I can mock them now, but I understand why they did it. My dad was born during Jim Crow. He was part of the first class to desegregate his high school. Being silent and fitting into whiteness was his survival tools. My mom immigrated from Kathmandu, Nepal to Bowling Green, Ohio, and was one of the only South Asian families in her town. She traded in saris and kurtas for t-shirts and jeans. My dad got rid of his black gap with braces, and my mom got rid of her accent with Star Trek. They met in college, they dated for nearly a decade, and decided to get married. But when my mother's parents found out that my dad was black, they said no. She had to marry a Nepali man, an Indian man, or a white man, definitely not black. And they told her this wasn't about race. They said, think about your child's future. Would you really want to raise a black child in this world? We didn't immigrate to this country only to fall lower. But we know how the story ends. I'm here. They got married, but they didn't raise me to be Black or Asian or both. They raised me to be white, which meant not talking about race. But everywhere I went, the world reminded me. When my friends told me that I smelled like curry, I knew I wasn't like them. When they asked me where was I from, like, no, where are you really from? I knew I wasn't like them. When they told me I was pretty cute for a Black girl, I wasn't like them. And when we were in history class learning about slavery and everyone was looking at me, I definitely wasn't like them. I wasn't white. And my parents never told me any of that. But I don't blame them. Because how do you have a conversation with your child so early on that they were born different? And it's because of you.
Hey, Sunisa, do you see in widescreen? Oh, since you started shit. So is yours just really small and yours really big or medium?
No, okay. Hey, we're taking some Indian dance class. You want to see that little bottle and everything that you guys do?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Like song that okay. You talk about white people a lot, but aren't you kind of like the Becky of this group?
You know, Janae, you talk so much about being fetishized, but you ain't that cute.
Japanese enough.
Japanese enough?
Japanese enough.
Japanese enough.
Japanese enough.
お久しぶりです。お元気ですか？よかった。僕も元気です。1月12日帰る。卒業の切符。When and how many? ごめん、知らない。It's good to see you too. This is typically how I greet my Japanese relatives as they come to our family's home for the annual Koji, or memorial service. My dad, typically a people person, is quieter than usual as my aunt, uncle, and cousins all chatter in Japanese. My mom listens, but replies in English. Hey, Mocha, hotel? Yeah, I finally have the rice this year. Hey, yokatta! Yeah, that was so embarrassing. I had to go to the grocery store and buy the microwavable kind. As my aunt and mother talk, my dad takes this moment to make small talk with my uncle as he prepares for shrine. My whole Japanese family in Hawaii speaks perfect English, but I suppose in the heat of the moment, they forget that my dad and older brother don't understand a lick of Japanese. My dad always jokingly speculates they think I'm talking shit. I reassure him they aren't. As the ceremony begins, everybody takes their seats, pressing beaded bracelets between their hands. Some of us with Buddhist text. My uncle recites the passages completely from memory. My aunts and cousins recite the kanji passages under their breath. And my mom, unable to read the kanji text like she used to, just listens to my uncle as Marlon and I read the hiragana subtitles as quickly as we can. As for my dad and older brother, they just sit waiting for the final bell to ring, singing the end of the ceremony. I remember what it was like to be a part of the first orgy. I always wondered if I was Japanese enough to be sitting. I mean, hey, my dad was right there too. Soon, my uncle won't be able to administer this ritual. Am I Japanese enough to take his place? Are my Japanese relatives, who don't even know I exist, going to be able to think that I'm Japanese enough for them? Was I Japanese enough for my grandparents, whom we remember at this service? Were all the Japanese songs I learned and the classes I took enough to satisfy them before they passed? At the final OG before my OG Chance Day, he did something very simple. He presented my father with 2 large bottles of sake, imported from Japan. We never officially accepted my father as a part of his family, but I'd like to think of this as his way of saying Japanese.
Tommy.
Amaga? Yeah, Grandma, I'm starving. Opera and Joe? Yes, ma'am. How many? I have no idea what you're saying. What? No way. You're crazy. No, like, really. Amaga? Yeah, I can take a snack. Opera and... Yes, ma'am. How many? Why is Grandpa always chasing us around in the house with a hanger? One day he's cool, the next day he's screaming, "Dede, Dede!" But he's Korean. I mean, I know I don't look like you completely, but I have almond eyes just like you. Amaga? No, Grandma, I'm full. Open on your... Yes, ma'am. How many? I'm really gonna miss you when you move to North Carolina. Who am I gonna watch Korean dramas with? You have no idea what they're saying. Why didn't you teach me Korean? Huh? Amaga? No, Grandma, I'm full. Open up. Yes, ma'am. Honey, I'm so excited to be visiting you in North Carolina. Mactra? Yeah, Grandma, we have the beer. Grandpa loves him some beer. We drink half the pack and started singing all these Japanese songs, even though he was Korean. Alaska? Yeah, Grandma, I really wish you could go back home with us. How many don't cry? We'll be back way before you start chasing us around with hangers, like you never fed us, bathed us, or watched us go into the woman we are today. Amaka? No, Grandma, I'm only starving to understand you. Open up. I stand at attention asking you questions that you can't even give me the answers to. Amaka? Open up, Anjo? How many? Consider. Saranghayo. Salvation. Salvation.
Salvation.
Salvation.
I'm sick of dating black women. Do you want to know the truth of the matter?
Yeah.
I'm not Christian. But you didn't know that when you invited me to attend your church last Sunday. You didn't know when I was singing gospel songs with you in the car. To you, I was morally upright. To you, I was kind, funny, and for all good purposes, a good guy. But then you asked me, and I said unapologetically, without second thought, I'm Buddhist. But you didn't hear me. You heard. I'm not Christian, not baptized, not saved, not right, no good. And slowly you came back to reality, and I stood there watching you, waiting for your response, and I already knew what it was going to be anyway. You said, "Oh, that's interesting," and I waited for you to ask me for an explanation, and you didn't, and that was okay because I was tired of justifying my religious beliefs anyway. But I knew what I said would glaze you over, crystallize in time, and eventually you would ask me what it is exactly that I believe. And I would tell you, and you would rediscover that we had so much in common, that our values were, quite similar, that you could rest easy knowing that the man you love was good character. So it was all good. But then your parents came down. What were you supposed to tell them? That this boy who you thought was extraordinary, who you loved, wasn't Christian, but was good nonetheless. They didn't hear you. They heard, he's not Christian. He's not right, not saved, not baptized, no good. so we grew apart. You deterred by your parents, us by our lack of trust. No, your fleeting faith in me for the absence of mine. My parents' own upbringing had influenced my decision not to be Christian, and I had simply made the wrong one. You know, and you tried to tell me that everything was okay, that none of this was my fault, but how could I believe you when every day I looked into the mirror and I wondered if I was looking at the devil himself? In my own Buddhist terms, I had become the ultimate temptation from which you had fled to become spiritually pure. You released yourself of your desires, cleansed yourself of me.
Not Blasian. Not Blasian.
Not Blasian.
What's this Black Lives Matter thing I keep seeing on your Facebook? My cousin from Nepal asks me. I pause, taken a little bit aback. I wonder, if I were like her, 100% Nepali, 100% not black, would I know what the Black Lives Matter movement is? And I'm a little jealous of her. Because you see, she can choose if she cares. She can choose if she wants to be involved. She can choose to look the other way. The police aren't targeting people who look like her in the same way. So I give her a general overview, and she gives me a general nod of understanding, remarks how sad it is that a country with a colored president could be so racist, and then goes back to scrolling through Facebook on her iPhone. I'm not sure if my family in Nepal know that Black Lives Matter, because I'm not sure if they know I'm black. My uncles tell me that I'm the spitting image of a Nepali woman, and my aunties ask me when I'll be making my next Bollywood debut. Either they've forgotten I'm black or choose not to see it. And when I'm rocking out to the latest Shah Rukh Khan song with them too, I don't really see me as black either. But being black always comes up. It always sneaks back in. When I'm listening to Kanye, I'm black. When I'm buying excessive amounts of cocoa butter, I am black. When I'm just like strutting around in some Adidas, I'm black. And when I am looking at another article of a black person who got shot for doing nothing, I am 100% black, and I don't even feel Asian. I live in these two distinct worlds, one black and one Asian, and though they share me in common, they never seem to meet in the middle. Being Asian, being black, being Blasian sounds so seamless, but in reality, I can't find any common ground. I have no idea how to be both. I don't think most people see me as both. Hell, I don't even see myself as both. You know, in a perfect world, I would be listening to Kanye and Bollywood at the same time. I would be as fabulous as Beyonce and Priyanka Chopra at the same time. I would wear my hair big and curly in a sari at the same time. I would twerk in gungurus at the same time. And I would be black and Asian at the same time. And I do want to be both. I'm just not sure how to do both yet.
Mother's Filipino?
Her mother's Filipino. Her mother's Filipino.
Pacquiao is fighting Marquez for the 4th time. I walked downstairs from my best friend's room to get more food because you know Filipino parties, they're about 5% party, 95% food. Wonderful, hi kita. The woman I just greeted looks at me, confused by the words that are escaping my full lips. Oh, have you met Janae? Si friend ni Ella. Filipina ang kaya nanay. Her mother is Filipina. In an instant, this stranger's entire posture changes. Her eyes light up, and her initial disappointment with my greeting is dismissed because all of a sudden my skin is more familiar. My slender eyes make sense, and I'm no longer that one-dimensional shade of dumb, black, that she saw 3 minutes ago. I have a special place for the look on people's faces when they find out that her mother is Filipina. Because to you, other Filipinos, it means that the food that you eat is as easy for me to swallow as the cocoa that dusts my cheeks for you when you learn that it's diluted with your coconut milk. It means that the tongues you speak are as easy on my ears as the jazz in my voice for you when you hear it sung through your Magic Sing karaoke. And the skin? We can fix that with some bleach. We have some cream upstairs on that. Yeah, I saw it on your sink. And to you, other black folk, my blackness is prettier when it's wrapped up in a lighter complexion, imported from a faraway land and adorned with nicer trimmings of a foreign appeal. My blackness in and of itself is not a gift to you. So you'd rather leave it unwrapped than to see what you know too well, what you've been told to hate too well of yourself. I'm sorry if I don't dance upon hearing it sung that her mother is Filipina. My dad is black, and my skin is somewhere in between. I prefer the version where the percussions and the melodies intertwine in a rhythm that falls upon your deaf ears. My golden complexion is melodic. Your Southeast Asian melanin, or Caribbean melanin, or African melanin is melodic. So why don't your eyes light up the same way when you hear it?
Coming to terms.
Coming to terms.
Coming to terms.
Coming to terms.
I used to despise the idea of being African American. I mean, could you blame me? My black side comes from my father, who wasn't in my life, which is so typical, right? So who was supposed to teach me what it meant to be a black woman? You know, growing up, I used to have these red streaks throughout my hair, and I hated every strand because my father has full head of red hair. And all these freckles all over my body. I hated every single one of them because he has a full face of freckles. Now, despite my disdain and unwillingness to identify with African American culture, my Sri Lankan mother specifically put me in black spaces so I would not only be able to recognize African American culture, but also to appreciate it. And as I grew up, I knew I needed to know what it meant to be black because I'm not just Sri Lankan. And so going to college, I chose to go to Spelman, a historically black women's college in Atlanta, Georgia. And now every time I come home, after 18 years, my family wonders what happened to me. My mom, who understands what it means to be a minority woman, but not a black woman. And then my brother, who, again, the only thing that he understands about being a black man is the fact that he is one. Well, partially, right? When I come home to these two beautiful people, I have transformed into the black girl. My brother, he'll joke around and say things like, "Shura, just because you go to a black school doesn't mean that you're black." But Aya, kapara hande na. Don't you get it? Don't you see the way they look at us? Don't you feel proud knowing how much our ancestors sacrificed for us to be here? Don't you get it? Now my mom, she'll try to be understanding, but she'll say things like, while you may be black, you're Sri Lankan first, and then you're black. But Mama wata that I love you, but you just can't teach me this. You see, claiming my black identity has nothing to do with my absentee father. It's about coming to terms with the culture that I was born into, something that completes me and makes me whole. You see, I'm Sri Lankan and I'm black. 100% of the time, all of the time. Marlon, what about your upbringing made you think that being black was synonymous with being hood?
What? If you hadn't been rejected by your white peers, do you think you would have ever considered yourself a person of color?
Jeanette, do you think you'll ever be in a relationship, a romantic relationship, where you're fetishized?
Julian, did you learn to speak Japanese because you wanted to learn or because you wanted to be accepted by your Japanese family?
Tanisha, how do you really know what it's like to be black or Korean when you're white, grown up in Alaska?
Shannon, did you attend a historically black college to make up for the absence of your black father?
I mean, what are you?
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 What
are you? I am Julian U. Booker. You being a Japanese translation of the Sanskrit phrase, elbow. What can I say? I need my space. I am a musician, a scholar, and a student of peace.
My name is Sharanti Pauline Goodwilka. I'm an activist, a scholar, an environmentalist. I'm a Sri Lankan woman who believes and appreciates in the teachings of Lord Buddha, and an African American woman who believes she should stand at the forefront for social injustices.
I am Sinisa Gavin, also known as Miss Gavin. I am a future actress and a current educator, paving the way for scholars to get the best education that they deserve. I am Janae Tayshawn Havalona Maynard. I am passion, the embodiment of passion. Passion for music, passion for people, passion for identity. I'm working towards healing and transformation individually and collectively.
I am Maya Davey, Virginia Ross. I am an activist through my artistry. I am both basic and complex at the same time. And I am going to be a Bollywood star someday.
My name is Marlon Booker. I'm 5'8", slightly clumsy, and my favorite foods are ebi tempura and ramen. And I am a musician, I am a lover of the arts, and a purveyor of peace.
So that was a wonderful performance. We're going to take a 10-minute bathroom snack break. Also, if you were one of the first 50 people with a token, you can go in the lobby and get your free drink. And then please come back inside after 10 minutes and we're going to have Q&A with your guests. So another round of it.
We'll also try to make sure that we have the audience before you guys want to stay and that's something so.
Got it. Maybe one more round of applause.
If you're getting a drink, please remember to specify your milk order. That'll make it a hell of a lot
You want to boost you over?
That was good. I'll probably not have it.
Hello?